The blue light from the screens filled the dark room on the Zephyrian ship. Commander Vexhai stood behind his science team as they watched the signals coming from the third planet. The small world looked peaceful from space. White clouds moved across blue oceans. Green and brown landmasses sat quietly under a yellow sun. "What do you see?" Vexhai asked his lead scientist, Dr. Kethmer. "Interesting species, Commander," Kethmer said. His long fingers moved across the control panel. They call themselves humans. They seem very calm and peaceful. On the main screen, human television shows played one after another. A cooking program showed a smiling woman making bread. A news report talked about a new hospital opening. Children laughed as they played in a park. Everything looked normal and safe. "Get this," another scientist said. They spend most of their time watching moving pictures, stories that are not real. They sit in chairs and watch other people pretend to fight battles that never happened. Vexhai watched the screen change to a movie. Humans with weapons ran through a building, shooting at enemies. Explosions filled the screen. But then the movie ended, and the same humans appeared on a different show, talking and laughing about making the movie. "See," the scientist said, "they know it is not real. They play at war like children play with toys." Dr. Kethmer brought up more signals from the planet. "Their internet is full of games. War games, fighting games, strategy games. Psst, but they play them for fun. When the game ends, they go back to their normal lives. They work at desks, shop for food, and take care of their families." The team watched more human activities. People went to jobs and offices. They bought food at stores. Or children went to schools. Old people sat on benches feeding birds. It all looked very ordinary. "What about their military?" Vexhai asked. Small Kethmer replied, "Most humans are not soldiers. They have some armies, but most people just live normal lives, they seem to avoid real fighting. When they have problems with other humans, they talk instead of fighting." Vexhai nodded. This was what they expected to find. Most species in the galaxy were like this, lived quiet lives until a stronger species arrived. Then they would quickly surrender and accept their new place in the order of things. "Their technology is basic," another scientist reported. "They have simple rockets that barely leave their planet. Their weapons are old-fashioned. Bullets and bombs. Nothing that could hurt our ships. Their cities are not protected," added another. "No shields, no defense systems. Just buildings where they live and work." Vexhai studied the data on his personal screen. The humans had a population of about 8 billion. It was a good number for workers. Their planet had useful resources, water, metals, and good soil for growing food. It would be a valuable addition to the Zephyrian collective. "Recommendation?" Vexhai asked his team. "Category 7, Dr. Kethmer said without hesitation. "Low threat, pacified civilization. Standard extraction protocol should work perfectly." The other scientists agreed. Category 7 was the easiest rating. It meant the species was peaceful and would not fight back. The Zephyrians could arrive, show their superior technology, and the humans would surrender quickly. Then the resource extraction could begin. Vexhai looked at the peaceful planet one more time. The humans were still watching their pretend wars on screens, still playing their games, still living their quiet lives. They had no idea what was coming. "Prepare the fleet," Vexhai ordered. 3 dreadnoughts should be enough. The standard intimidation. Formation. We'll give them the usual choice: surrender or face destruction. "Sir," a young officer spoke up, "should we study them more? Learn about their culture?" Vexhai turned to look at the officer. "What for?" "Look at them. They spend their days watching stories and playing games. They have no real warriors, no defense systems. This will be over in one day." The officer nodded and went back to his work. But something bothered him about the human signals. In their movies and games, the humans always seemed to know exactly how to fight. They understood tactics and strategy. They knew how to use weapons and make plans. But the older officers were right. Movies and games were not real life. When real danger came, the humans would probably hide or run away. That was what most peaceful species did. Dr. Kethmer was finishing his report. "Human psychology shows they prefer comfort and safety. They avoid conflict when possible. They spend their time on entertainment rather than preparing for war. Perfect candidates for peaceful integration into the collective. How long until we reach their planet? Vexai asked. 17 standard days, Commander. Good. Send the preliminary report to the Hegemony Council. Request approval for Category 7 extraction protocol. Within hours, the reply came back. The Council had reviewed the data and agreed. The humans look like an easy target. Their peaceful nature and weak technology made them ideal for quick conquest. The 3 Zephyrian dreadnoughts began their journey toward Earth. Each ship was over 2 kilometers long and carried enough firepower to destroy a small moon. The crew was confident this would be another routine operation. Behind them, signals from Earth continued to stream through space. More movies about war, more games about fighting, or humans sitting safely in their homes, watching and playing and learning. But the Zephyrians had stopped listening. They thought they knew everything they needed to know about humans. They were about to discover how wrong they were. The 3 Zephyrian dreadnoughts dropped out of faster-than-light travel above Earth. Their massive ships hung in space like dark clouds, blocking out the sun over major cities. Commander Vexai stood on the bridge of his flagship looking down. At the blue planet below, "Begin the demonstration," he ordered. The ships decloaked at exactly the same time. First over New York, then London, then Tokyo. Each dreadnought was 2 kilometers long and half a kilometer wide. Their black metal hulls reflected no light. Weapon ports glowed with red energy along their sides. "Broadcasting surrender demands now," his communications officer reported. "All major languages covered. Standard protocol, 7 message." Vexai nodded. The message was simple and had worked on hundreds of worlds. Surrender now and become part of the collective. Refuse and face total destruction. Most species chose. Surrender within the first hour. "Sir," the sensor operator called out, "I am reading unusual activity on the surface." "Panic?" Vexai asked. "People running?" "No, sir. People are moving toward us." Vexai frowned. That was not normal. Most species ran away from the ships or hid in their homes. They did not move closer. On Earth, something unexpected was happening. In Tokyo, a man named Hiroshi was working the night shift, cleaning an office building. When the alien ship appeared outside the windows, he did not run. Instead, he looked at the cleaning supplies around him and started thinking. Hiroshi had played strategy games since he was a child. He had watched every war movie ever made. He knew that big ships needed small support craft to control ground areas, and he knew that cleaning chemicals could make very effective explosives when mixed correctly. 2 hours later, the first Zephyrian scout ship landed in Tokyo. The crew expected to find frightened humans waiting to surrender. Instead, they found empty streets. Then Hiroshi's improvised bombs started going off under their landing gear in Detroit. A 16-year-old girl named Maya was playing online games with her friends when the ships appeared. She did not turn off her computer and hide. Instead, she started typing messages to her gaming team. "Real aliens," she typed. "This is not a drill. Time to use everything we learned." Maya and her friends had spent years playing war games together. They knew how to coordinate attacks from different locations. They knew how to use drones and cameras to scout enemy positions. Within an hour, they had turned their gaming network into a military command center. When the Zephyrian scouts flew over Detroit, they found themselves facing swarms of small drones. The drones were not military equipment. They were toys and hobby aircraft that teenagers had modified with cameras, small explosives, and metal fragments. The drones moved in complex patterns that the aliens could not predict. In Montana, an old woman named Betty heard the surrender demand on her radio. She was 75 years old and had been hunting deer in these mountains for 60 years. She lived alone in a small cabin with her dogs and her rifle. Betty did not surrender. Instead, she climbed up to her favorite hunting spot on the ridge. She had hit deer from 2 kilometers away many times. Alien scout ships were much bigger than deer. They moved much slower. Her first shot went through the cockpit of a Zephyrian patrol craft. The ship crashed into the forest below. Betty moved to a new position and kept shooting. All over Earth, similar things were happening. People were not running or hiding. They were fighting back. But they were not fighting like soldiers. Were fighting like people who had learned warfare from movies and games. A taxi driver in London used his knowledge of the city streets to lead alien ground forces into traffic jams where people could attack them from above. A chef in Paris turned his restaurant into a bomb factory using kitchen supplies. Children in schools used their science knowledge to make weapons from laboratory chemicals. On the Zephyrian flagship, the reports were getting worse by the hour. "We have lost contact with Scout Group 7, an officer reported. All of them." Vexai asked. "Yes, sir?" "Last transmission showed they were under attack by small flying objects." "What kind of objects?" "We are not sure, sir. They appear to be toys." Vexai stared at the officer. "Toys?" "Yes, sir. But they were armed with explosives." More reports came in. Scout teams were being ambushed by humans who seemed to know exactly where they would land. Ground patrols were walking into traps that looked like empty buildings but were filled with improvised weapons. The humans were using their own infrastructure against the invaders. "Sir," Dr. Kethmer called from his station. I think we made an error in our assessment." "What kind of error?" "The human entertainment programs? We thought they were just stories. But look at this data." Kethmer showed Vexai the numbers. Average human had watched over 10,000 hours of military and action entertainment. They had played hundreds of war games, had read books about tactics and strategy, all for fun. They were not just watching stories, Kethmer said. They were training. Every human on this planet has been learning warfare their entire lives. Looked at the reports coming in from the surface. Human resistance was not decreasing. It was getting stronger. "More organized, more creative, sir," another officer called out. "The humans are using their communication networks to coordinate attacks. They are sharing information about our forces. In real time, how are they getting that information? They are hacking our systems, sir. Their computer experts are treating this like one of their games." Vexai realized the terrible truth. The humans were not treating this invasion like a real war. They were treating it like the ultimate game. It's the biggest, most exciting challenge they had ever faced, and they were very good at games. 3 days after the first landing, Commander Vexai called an emergency meeting. His officers gathered around the command table, their faces showing confusion and worry. The holographic display showed Earth with hundreds of red markers indicating lost Zephyrian units. "Report," Vexai ordered. Lieutenant Zareth stood up first. "Sir, we have lost 60% of our scout forces. Ground operations have completely failed in all major population centers." "How is that possible?" Vexai asked. "These humans have no military training?" "That is what we thought, sir. But our field analysis shows something different." Zareth activated a recording. "This is from Scout Team 12 in the human city called Berlin." The recording showed Zephyrian soldiers moving through empty streets. Everything looked normal. Then explosions started happening in a pattern. First behind them, cutting off retreat. Then on both sides, forcing them into a narrow path. Finally in front, trapping them completely. "The humans knew exactly where we would go," Zareth said. "They predicted our movement patterns and prepared accordingly." Dr. Kethmer activated his own display. "I have been studying their communication intercepts. The humans are not acting randomly. They have a sophisticated understanding of military tactics." "Impossible," Vexai said. "Our intelligence showed they were peaceful." "Our intelligence was wrong, sir. Look at this." Kethmer showed video feeds from human devices. People were sharing tactical information in real time. Someone in Australia was advising fighters in Europe about alien weak points. Teenagers in Canada were analyzing Zephyrian ship designs and posting detailed attack plans. They're treating this like a massive multiplayer game, Kethmer explained. Every human with a communication device is part of one huge military network. Another officer, Captain Rextold, stepped forward. "Sir, I have worse news. The humans are learning about us faster than we are learning about them." "Explain." "Every time we land a ship, they capture some of our equipment. Within hours, they have figured out how it works. They are reverse engineering our technology using their internet to share information globally. Rextold showed images of human workshops. People were taking apart Zephyrian weapons and building copies using their own materials. Others were modifying human devices to work with alien technology. A human child in Mumbai figured out how to disrupt our communication. Systems using a modified gaming console, Rextold said. She posted the instructions online. Humans everywhere are jamming our signals. Vexai stared at the reports. This was not how invasions were supposed to work. What about our intimidation tactics? Show them our firepower. That always works. We tried that, sir, Lieutenant Zareth said. We destroyed several empty buildings as a demonstration. The humans' response was ... unexpected. Show me. The screen changed to show a Zephyrian ship firing its main weapon at a skyscraper. The building collapsed in a cloud of dust and fire. The camera then shifted to show human reactions. They were not cowering in fear. They were cheering and taking videos with their phones. They think it looks cool, sir, Zareth said. Many of them are comparing it to special effects from their movies. Some are disappointed that our explosions are not more colorful. Dr. Kethmer brought up more data. The humans have no central command structure that we can target. Our governments tried to negotiate surrender, but the civilians ignored them. Individual humans are making their own decisions to fight. Every human settlement is acting independently, another officer added. We cannot control them by capturing their leaders because they do not follow their leaders in warfare. Vexai looked at the tactical display. Red dots marked human resistance all over the planet. There were thousands of them. Each dot represented a group of humans who had decided to fight using their own methods. Sir, Captain Rextold said quietly, I think we need to consider the possibility that we cannot conquer this planet using standard methods.
What are you
suggesting? The humans are not behaving like a normal species? They have no fear of death. They are not trying to protect their infrastructure. They are willing to destroy their own cities if it helps them fight us. Rextold showed video from the human city called Las Vegas. The humans had rigged the entire downtown area with explosives. When Zephyrian forces entered the city, the humans detonated everything at once. The explosion destroyed the alien forces, but it also destroyed most of the city. They care more about winning than surviving, Rextold said. That is not normal behavior for a civilized species. Dr. Kethmer nodded in agreement. Their entertainment. Media has taught them that sacrifice is heroic. They actually want to die fighting if it means victory for their side. Show me their casualty reports, Vexai ordered. Sir, they do not keep casualty reports the way we do. When humans die fighting us, other humans celebrate them as heroes. This makes more humans want to fight, not fewer. Vexai studied the data for a long time. Everything about this invasion was wrong. The humans should have surrendered on the first day. Instead, they were getting stronger and more organized. What is our current strategic position? He asked. Deteriorating rapidly, sir, Captain Rextold admitted. We cannot establish secure landing zones. We cannot control territory. Every day we remain here, we lose more equipment and personnel. And the humans are adapting to our technology faster than we can deploy it, Dr. Kethmer added. At this rate, they will have weapons equal to ours within weeks. Lieutenant Zareth activated another display. Sir, there is something else. Humans are starting to enjoy this. Their communication traffic shows they consider this the most exciting thing that has ever happened to them. What do you mean? They are competing with each other to see who can destroy the most alien equipment. They are making games out of fighting us. They are having fun. Vexai stared at the display showing human celebrations. People were dancing. In the streets, after successful attacks on Zephyrian forces, children were drawing pictures of exploding alien ships. Adults were making jokes about the invasion on their social media. Sir, Dr. Kethmer said carefully, I recommend we revise our species classification for humans to what? I am not sure there is a proper classification for this species. They appear to be naturally military. Every individual is a potential combatant. They require no training, no organization, no leadership. They just fight. Vexai looked out at the blue planet below. 3 days ago, it had looked like an easy target. Now it looked like a trap that his entire fleet was slowly falling into. "Prepare a message to the Hegemony Council," he said finally. "Tell them we need to discuss new tactics." 1 week after the failed invasion began, the emergency message arrived from the Hegemony Council. Commander Vex High read it twice before calling his officers to the command deck. The message was short and clear: use overwhelming force or face. Court-martial for failure. "The Council is sending the 7th Siege Fleet," Vexa announced to his gathered officers. 50 dreadnoughts, 200 destroyer escorts, and planetary bombardment ships. Double quotes. Dr. Kethmer looked worried. "What are our orders?" "Total intimidation protocol. If the humans do not surrender immediately, we are authorized to begin sterilization bombardment of major population centers." The room fell silent. Even veteran officers knew that sterilization bombardment was rarely used. It meant destroying entire cities from orbit, killing millions of people at once. Most species surrendered when they saw that kind of firepower. "The Council believes," Vexai continued, "that the humans will break when they face extinction. Every species does eventually." 3 days later, a massive Zephyrian fleet arrived at Earth. The ships filled the space around the planet like a metal cloud. Each siege ship was 5 kilometers long and carried enough weapons to crack a planet's crust. The humans could see. The fleet, with their basic telescopes, Vex High expected panic. He expected surrender messages from every human government. Instead, something else happened. On Earth, the news of the approaching fleet spread across the internet in minutes. But the human response was not fear, it was excitement. "This is it," typed a user called GameMaster2099. "Final boss fight. Everything we have learned has been preparing us for this moment. Time to go all out," replied another user. "No more holding back. They want to play extinctional level threat. Let's show them what that actually means." Within hours, humans were implementing plans that their own governments did not know existed. Secret networks that had formed during the first week of fighting began activating protocols that seemed impossible in Russia. A group of nuclear engineers started modifying reactor cores, not to build weapons, but to build the biggest weapons possible. They were turning entire power plants into massive bombs that could be triggered remotely in the United States. Aerospace workers began sabotaging their own space elevators. But they were not just breaking them. They were turning them into giant railguns that could fire chunks of metal into space at incredible speeds in China. Computer programmers launched a virus into every satellite network on Earth. The virus had one purpose: to turn every piece of space junk, every old satellite, every piece of orbital debris into a guided missile aimed at the alien fleet. "Sir, Lieutenant Zareth reported to Vex High, we are detecting unusual activity on the planet's surface." "What kind of activity?" "Energy buildups in hundreds of locations. It looks like the humans are preparing weapons." Vex High studied the sensor. "Data. What kind of weapons could they possibly have that would threaten our fleet?" "Unknown, sir. But the energy readings are massive." Dr. Kethmer was analyzing human communications. "Sir, you need to see this. The humans are not trying to save their planet anymore." "What do you mean?" "They are treating their entire planet as a weapon. Look at these messages." Kethmer displayed human internet traffic. They are calling it the Scorched Earth Protocol. "In the Mutual Assured Destruction game?" Vexai read the messages with growing horror. The humans were planning to destroy their own civilization, to take the alien fleet with them. They were rigging their nuclear power plants, their chemical factories, their space infrastructure, and even their cities to explode all at once. "This is insane," Vexai said. "No species destroys itself to fight an enemy. Humans are not thinking like a normal species, sir," Dr. Kethmer replied. "They are thinking like players in a game, and in their games, sometimes the only way to win is to sacrifice everything." Captain Rextold activated another display. "Sir, we are receiving a message from the human planet. It appears to be directed at our entire fleet. Put it on the main screen." The image showed a human teenager sitting in what looked like a bedroom. Behind him were posters of spaceships and war movies. He looked directly at the camera and smiled. "Hello, alien friends," the teenager said. My name's Alex, and I speak for the planet Earth. We got your message about surrender or destruction. We've decided on option 3. Option 3? Muttered. Alex continued speaking. You see, you made a mistake. You thought we were afraid of dying. But we are not afraid of dying. We are afraid of boring lives. You just gave us the most exciting challenge in human history. The image changed to show scenes from around Earth. Humans were working frantically on massive construction projects. Cities were being evacuated, not in panic, but in organized preparation for something big. You brought 50 ships to destroy our world, Alex said. That is cute. But we have spent the last week turning our entire planet into a weapon. Every nuclear reactor, every chemical plant, every satellite, every city, all of it is now aimed at your fleet. Guess I felt cold fear creeping into his thoughts. He is bluffing. No species would actually do this. Alex seemed to hear him. We think we are bluffing? Let us show you something. The screen changed to show a nuclear power plant. Human workers were making final adjustments to something that definitely did not look like normal equipment. We have 64 nuclear reactors. On this planet, Alex continued, we have turned 40 of them into bombs. Each one is now 100 times more powerful than our biggest weapons. We have aimed them at your ships, using our space elevators as launch systems. More images appeared, space elevators that had been modified into massive railguns, orbital, debris that was moving in formation toward the alien fleet. Cities that were clearly rigged with explosives. But that is not all, Alex said cheerfully. We have also turned our chemical plants into massive poison gas factories, our satellites into guided missiles, our cities into giant bombs. Our entire planet is now one big trap. Captain Rexdold was studying his sensors frantically. Sir, I am confirming multiple energy signatures consistent with what the human is describing. You wanted to play extinction-level threat? Alex said. Still smiling. Congratulations. You activated our extinction-level response. Here's how this works. You can destroy our planet if you want. But when you do, the explosion will be big enough to take your entire fleet with us. Vexai stared at the screen in disbelief. The human teenager looked completely calm and happy. We have calculated the blast radius, Alex continued. Your ships cannot escape in time, even if you start running right now. So you have 2 choices. Leave our solar system immediately. Or find out what happens when an entire planet decides to become a weapon. We call this strategy if we cannot have our planet. Nobody can, Alex concluded. You have 1 hour to decide. When thanks for the most fun we've ever had. This has been the best game ever. The transmission ended. Vexai looked around at his officers. They all had the same expression of horror and disbelief. Sir Doctor, Kethmer said quietly, I believe the humans are serious. The hour deadline given by the human teenager passed in tense silence. Commander Vexai stood on his bridge, staring at the blue planet below. His sensors confirmed everything the human had claimed. Earth was now a massive weapon aimed directly at his fleet. Status report, Vexai ordered. Lieutenant Zareth checked his readings. Sir, the humans have followed through on their threats. 40 nuclear facilities are showing critical overload signatures. The space elevators are definitely configured as railguns. And there are over 3,000 pieces of orbital debris moving toward our fleet in coordinated attack patterns.
Ow!
Long would we need to escape the blast radius if they detonate everything? 18 hours at maximum speed, sir? But they could trigger the explosions at any moment. Dr. Kethmer was analyzing the latest human communications. Sir, the humans are treating this like a victory celebration. You're not acting like people who are about to die. Show me. The main screen displayed human internet activity. People all over Earth were posting messages of excitement and congratulation. Children were drawing pictures of exploding alien ships. Adults were making jokes about scaring away the bullies from space. Look at this message thread, Dr. Kethmer said. A conversation appeared on screen between human users. Best finale ever, wrote someone called Space Gamer 47. I cannot believe we actually made them back down, replied Star Wars Kid 2010. Did you see their ships? They are just sitting there? They are too scared to attack and too scared to leave, added another user. We broke their AI with human logic, wrote Game Master 2099. They cannot compute a species that treats extinction like a game. Vexai felt something he had never experienced before in his military career: complete defeat by a species that should have been helpless. Sir, Captain Rextold approached carefully. The Hegemony Council is demanding an explanation. They want to know why we have not begun the bombardment. What should I tell them? The truth, sir. That this species is unlike anything in our database. Us. Vexai thought about his options. He could order the bombardment and destroy Earth. But the humans had made it clear that destroying their planet would also destroy his entire fleet. The hegemony would lose 50 of its best ships and thousands of crew members, or he could retreat and face court-martial for failure. Sir Dr. Kethmer said quietly. I have a recommendation. Speak. We should classify this species as a galactic hazard and recommend immediate quarantine of their solar system. On what grounds? Dr. Kethmer activated his final analysis. The humans represent a threat we have never encountered before. They're not just individually dangerous, they're collectively insane by galactic standards. Explain. Every other species in the galaxy follows predictable patterns. They value survival above all else. They can be intimidated, controlled, or eliminated using standard protocols. But humans do not value survival above entertainment. Vexai studied the data Kethmer was showing him. 6 months of analysis compressed into a simple conclusion. Humans treat everything like a competition, Kethmer continued. Life, death, war, peace, it is all just different types of games to them. They will sacrifice anything, including their own existence, to win whatever game they think they are playing. And right now, they think they are playing a game called Scare Away the Alien Invaders, Captain Rextold added. They are winning that game by being willing to die. Lieutenant Zareth brought up tactical displays. Sir, there is another problem. The humans have been recording everything about our ships, our weapons, our tactics. If we retreat, they will have detailed information about Zephyrian technology. Sir, these humans reverse engineer technology as a hobby. Within a few years, they will have ships as advanced as ours. And based on their behavior, they will probably use those ships to come looking for us. Vexai stared at the young officer. You think they would actually chase us across the galaxy for revenge? No, sir. I think they would chase us across the galaxy for fun. Double quotes. Dr. Kethmer nodded in agreement. The humans see space travel and alien contact as the ultimate adventure. If they develop faster than light travel, they will spread across the galaxy not for resources or territory, but because they think it would be exciting. And every species they meet will face the same problem we face now, Captain Rextold said. How do you fight an enemy that treats death as an acceptable outcome as long as the fight is interesting enough? Vexai looked out at Earth one final time. The planet looked peaceful and beautiful. But he now knew it contained the most dangerous species in the galaxy, not because they were strong or advanced, but because they were completely unpredictable. Prepare a full report for the hegemony. Council, he ordered. Classification, apex predator species, threat level, maximum. Recommendation, immediate quarantine of Sol system, no contact under any circumstances. What reason should I give for the classification, sir? Vexi thought for a long moment. Tell them that humans are a species that practices warfare as entertainment. Every individual from childhood to death is trained in combat tactics through their leisure activities. They have no concept of civilian non-combatants. They do not fear death. They do not value survival over victory. And they think losing a fight is boring. And the quarantine recommendation? Tell them that humans view any challenge as an opportunity for fun. If we attack them, they enjoy fighting us. If we try to enslave them, they enjoy resisting us. We try to destroy them, they enjoy taking us with them. The only way to deal with humans is to not deal with them at all. Dr. Kethmer was writing the final report. Sir, what about the territorial classification? Mark their system as forbidden space. Any ship that enters Sol system does so at its own risk. And add a warning, this species weaponizes everything. including their own planet. They do not have soldiers because they do not need soldiers. Every human is a soldier who simply has not been activated yet. Fleet orders, sir. Immediate withdrawal to the outer system, then return to hegemony space. We will monitor Earth from a safe distance and make sure the humans do not develop faster than light travel anytime soon. As the Zephyrian fleet began its retreat, new messages appeared on human internet networks. We just win our first interstellar? War without firing a shot, wrote someone. We did not win, replied another user. We just convinced them that fighting us would not be fun for them. Same thing, wrote a third. Victory is victory. Commander Vexhai read these messages as his ship pulled away from Earth. The humans were already planning what they would do when the next aliens arrived. They were treating the entire galaxy as a potential playground. Sir, Lieutenant Zareth said quietly, what if the humans are right? What if we just introduce them to the concept of galactic civilization? What if they decide to explore space now that they know other species exist? Vexhai did not answer. He was too busy hoping that humanity would stay on their small blue planet for a very long time, because if they ever reached the stars, every species in the galaxy would have to face the same terrifying question that had defeated his fleet. How do you fight an enemy that thinks warfare is the best game ever invented?